when someone says to you, who are you? You're going to give them your name. You're going to give them, like I said, a story that's made you up, some things that you like, yet, but all of these things you're observed. Who the fuck are you? Like, where does it start? And that is really interesting, because then, for me, I can, because your past doesn't define you. You shouldn't live in your past. I try and live by that. Do I get caught in going to the past? Of course I fucking do. We're human, okay? Can you learn to be aware of that, to bring yourself back present again and realise I've just slipped off into something there which has not made me feel good. It didn't make me feel good back then. Why am I thinking about it now? And it's definitely, you know, if I carry on thinking about that, oh, guess what? Now I'm gauging something that's going to go, what happened next because of that? Well, actually, no, I've got no control over that either.
And for me, and I think you may agree, listening is mostly your biggest power, your biggest skill set, if you use it properly. Because when you do listen, like the things that we're hearing and understanding a lot more, that wasn't there before.
Definitely. And it's funny because obviously that hold the space thing that you said earlier, to life coaches and maybe other people don't know what that was, but I mean, I'd never heard of that concept until you'd introduced it to me when you started the coaching with myself.
I've seen my son's almost I've witnessed my son's energy, his spirit, his soul, which is used to normality prior to what this pandemic's done to people, because it's literally caged people in. A lot of it, you know, as we know, the mental health statistics, like we talked to Richard about that stuff as well, in what's going on in the social care sector currently, that adults, let alone kids, are feeling trapped, feeling caged. But kids haven't got a gauge. They just, like, life was life, then all of a sudden it was, right, this is it now, you're only allowed out for 1 hour, you know, but all this regimental stuff came into play, and whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't want to get controversial, this is just what happened, this is what I experienced, is just how much happiness it took away from kids.
Live life. And I think these are important lessons, because when we get to a certain age as humans, we get to 50 and all of a sudden we start stressing and we're worried that we're going to die. And then we get old, lose our hair and all this sort of stuff. We stress. But if you really think about it, we all die. All of us die. But when you're at this age, you've got responsibilities. You've got a kid. You've got grandkids. And every time you go around, you're stressing. But yet you could just enjoy that moment with them and be the role you're playing as a mum or as a nan. And then you can enjoy the rest of your life.
Me personally, I want people to know about this spirituality stuff, but I can't come from that place, because again, it's so far away from the normal day-to-day, and you think, what's he going on about as another guy? So let me just show you how it just affects my life and my friend's life, my client's life, and how these little changes that has no spiritual word to it, it's just a little change, has a very spiritual meaning to it after. And once I can get you into a tiny bit to experience it, and you see it works, then you start listening to the other stuff that we can go into, which does go down a rabbit hole. It does go down a spiritual path of enlightenment.
It's not even just the way that you treat your kids, it's the way that you treat yourself.
That's where I was going, because the core, sorry Hazza to cut in on that, but that is what I wanted to say is I realise now, your core values is your little inner self, your child. You don't change. The shell gets older, okay, and unfortunately the mind gets more corrupted, but the soul is ageless. You're still the same amazing little soul you was when all you was core values.
Mate, you know when you told me that, it's like, I did it, and fucking hell, I did it. He got so happy about having a conversation and listening. That's how happy he got, because it all worked. And he was like, he asked the question, and I held the space, and then she answered the question out loud, and then she asked another question, and she kept doing it. And he said there was one point where he held the space, and he said that he was about to hit in the question. He had the question in his head, and then she asked the question to herself.
No way. See, this is what I mean. Yeah.
I enjoy it though. I think what I loved about it is you got 7, 8 complete strangers in a room, And I knew it at the moment that one person just said, "Can I share something?" It just went, and everyone together on that part. And there's a few of you that had a lot going on in the week, and I believe that just the energy in that space made a big difference.
Shout out Paul Murray. What's happening, Paul Murray? Yeah, no, it did, mate. It did, and that's what. Again, that's the biggest. That's the biggest advert for group coaching.